Yes. So, hey Janelle. Hey Ruby.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm Dr. Jumesha Wade with Start at Zero again, and whew, we tired, but we here. We excited. Our kids in the background, probably. You might hear them, but we're moms. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So, anyway, this is our last Facebook Live, so I'm both excited and sad about that. See, there we go. So y'all can mute yourself until you can talk. I might have to do the same if my kids pop on. So, welcome everybody, all the parents out there, all the moms out there. Start at Zero has been doing these lives for a few weeks, and we just really focus on partnering with parents to promote healthy early childhood development. What that means is that we do home visits using the parents as teachers curriculum, and we do virtual engagement for circle times for kids. We do community resource connection, and we just love people really. So through all the different things that we get to do. I have a couple special guests. Ebony works with me at Start at Zero. She'll tell you a little bit about herself. Janelle, we met last summer. She did an internship with Start at Zero. Super dope, doing great work. And then Ruby, who I knew we actually met at a birth because we're both doulas, and then ended up getting connected through home visits. And so love her and her family as well. And so we're just excited to talk to you today about just self-care for moms. And it seems kind of like, out of place for right now, maybe for some people. Like, I don't have time to be taking care of myself when I got things to do. I have to, be out at the protest. I got to take care of kids. I have to think about what's happening in the fall for school or what's not happening for school because we still don't really know. And so we just wanted to just talk about it, talk about all the things. So I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves. I'll let Ebony go first, and then Ruby, and then Janelle. So y'all jump in. Ebony, you're on mute, though. Don't forget.
I know. I was so ready to jump in. I forgot I was on mute. My name is Ebony Kearney, and I am a parent educator with Start at Zero. I've been a part of Start at Zero for about 3+ years just on staff. But as far as being a part of my journey, for about maybe 5.5, 6 years, I've been a part of Start at Zero. So right now I'm specializing in our ASQ, which is our Ages and Stages questionnaire. So soon you'll see a lot of me promoting flyers and asking families to sign up for our learning checkups. So stay tuned for that.
Okay. I'm Ruby. I have a lot of roles. For one, I'm a mother of one. I have a 3-year-old and another on the way. I also do doula work, like Jamisha said. I do eyelash extensions. I'm in school full time. What else? I assist people with credit repair. So I'm all over the place. Like, um, chances are, if you see me, I'm doing one of those things. So, but I love what I do. I love keeping myself busy. But with doing all that, you definitely have to make time for self care. But we'll get into that.
Yep. Congrats on the baby. I saw you drop that in there real quick.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, Ruby.
Thank you.
I am Janelle. I am the owner. You're very welcome. I am the owner of Nell's Notes, where I provide life coaching and motivational speaking. I, as well, am a full-time student. I'm currently pursuing my master's in family and marriage therapy. Uh, Pretty much that's me in a bucket right now. Working overtime to keep people inspired, motivated, and encouraged, during a time like this. So uh, I love what I do. So very passionate about it.
Cool. Janelle just finished her bachelor's, so she just like, I ain't gonna talk about that. I'm gonna just move right into the master's. So we are proud of you. Had a birthday. So and she's like,
Thank
encouraging
you.
person I don't know, it's between her and Ebony. Y'all are just both very encouraging. I ain't leaving Ruby out, but y'all are just both encouraging encouragers. And so I just appreciate that because I don't do that enough. And so I learned so much from y'all in that regard. And I'm just excited to have each of y'all here. We're just gonna keep it real, So when I asked you to talk about self-care on Facebook Live, like what were your initial thoughts about self-care? Ruby, I'm gonna call y'all out like I'm a teacher.
Okay. My initial thoughts were honestly, because we being transparent, I was like, I don't really do enough self-care. How am I gonna get on here and talk about self-care to other people? But then I was like, it was kind of like a transitional moment because I was like, uh, that that tells me that it's time for a shift, and that I do need to really get in tune and figure out different ways to do more self-care and take care of myself. Because the other thing I left out is that I also work full time. So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I think, we always feel like we don't do enough. You could be killing it at self-care really, and you'll probably be on here like, you know what? I don't do enough. So I just want to, acknowledge that, and then we'll get into like the actual things that you do. But like, I just want to acknowledge that for real. Janelle, what were your thoughts when I said, hey, join me?
My thoughts was I was super excited. I was like, oh my God, yes. Because it's something that I talk about so much, and it's almost like I make it mandatory, right? It's like a requirement in my life. And so I try to encourage people to make it like it's almost part of your survival. And so it's really like a big deal. So I was really excited to even be able to have the conversation about it on a different platform. I'm a huge advocate for it. It was something that I had lacked for so long, and now is that I refuse to go without.
Yeah.
That's just pretty much what it is.
Yeah, that's real. And I would love to hear more about how you got to that place. So we'll unpack that a little bit. Ebony, what about you? Self-care.
Are you able to see me?
Yes.
Okay. Because my computer is showing that I'm froze. So self-care, kind of like Ruby was saying, like, are you able to see me? Your face is looking like,
yeah. I can see you. And let me also fix my face at the same time.
So, but no, saying like Ruby, like, how, preaching something and not feeling like you're doing that whole yourself, like it is kind of like, okay, am I really gonna get on here and talk about self-care? But then it goes back to also what you were just saying, like some of the things that we do just daily in our everyday routine, it's like it's a form of self-care that it's like unconsciously happening that we don't even realize that we're doing it. And that and it could be so small, but I think a part of self-care is realizing that moment so that you can actually take advantage of it and soak in it for a second. But yes, it's just so much I can keep going. Like it's just so many levels to self-care that I feel like there's type of self-care that's just kind of like mandatory things that you just have to do, and that could be just making sure you're eating, nourishing your body, drinking water, daily things, even taking a bath, because being a mother, you get in the moves and the grooves of things, and you turn around, you ain't had a shower or something all day. So you need to make sure like some self-care things are mandatory, and then there are other things, like I said, when it comes to levels, because then you have to do more things to actually get yourself balanced, or, get in that mindset where you actually are feeling like you are taking time for yourself, or, just to gain that moment.
Yeah, Ebony, I love what you said about like some of it we already do and we just don't like call it that. And I'll shout out, our friend Micah Rose, where she's like, I just don't do that. And I'm like, I will name some things. She's like, oh, well, I do that. And I'm like, well, ain't that self-care? And so I think it's important to like define it for yourself. Because I might be like, I'm taking a nap and that's my self-care. And Janelle is like, no, my self-care is this. So how do you define that for yourself? How do you define self-care for you? What is that? We'll go back around, Ruby.
Self-care for me is literally finding different ways, um whether you do it to prevent yourself from being overwhelmed, or you find yourself in a moment where you just like, this is too much. Because I will find times like that where I feel like, okay, I got way too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll stop. It don't matter how important it is. Like even um when Aubrey, my 3-year-old, was a baby, like when it was times that she couldn't calm down, I would have to, like, I would get overwhelmed because as a mother, you feel defeated. Your baby's crying and you can't do anything for them, and so I would literally have to take a couple minutes to walk away, just let her cry a little bit, and then come back. Um, Kind of take everything in, process it, and then go back and say, okay, let's try this again. But just taking that time to yourself. It doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's a whole hour, a whole day. But just being able to give yourself that time to reset, um, and really like rejuvenate yourself is like putting gas in the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's I like Janelle was saying, it's something that you it's a good survival tactic, and it's something that you can't live without.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's real. Janelle, what about you? When you think of self-care, what do you think of?
Well, I think of self care. I always self care for me automatically goes to like peace, right? Because my life is so chaotic. Things are always going, going, going. And so for self care for me it's like having that moment of peace, right? Even if like Ebony was saying, like the smallest things can contribute to self care.
Mm-hmm.
It's mandatory almost in survival for me because uh, when you were speaking, Ruby, about like just the car thing, I always use that analogy about when you're running on E, like you being the parent, you being the student, you're being a friend, you're being the support system, a spouse, and you have left yourself out, right? That's just like driving a car, like without gas, you want fumes. And then once you run out of gas, then it's something bigger, right? You might need a fuel injector or you might need an engine. But if you just had kept it up to date, getting your oil change and a little bit of petrol, just to keep yourself going and to maintain, right? That's what they tell you about your cars. So that's how I look at it when I say as far as survival. I almost demand my self-care time. I demand my peace. Because if I'm not healthy, like a healthy version of me is for me to be effective for you. If I'm not in my healthiest version of myself, then I can't be effective. I can't be any good to you because I'm not even being good to myself. So that when self care comes, is automatically peace. That's my first go to word metaphor for it is peace.
Yeah, for me, I think I have to be like mindful of my own needs. And sometimes I don't know. I complain about all the stuff. I don't like this. I don't like that. I wish this was different. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. And I'm like, but what do I actually want? I know what I don't want, but do I know what I actually want? And so then I found myself like not being real about how much time I needed or how much time away I wanted and like feeling guilty about it. Hey, Landon. Landon is one of my dual babies, so he will always have a special place in my heart.
Yes.
So if we done gave him too much attention, he gonna be just asking.
Yes.
But anyway, I think about like I don't know. I don't often know what I want because sometimes I haven't had it enough. So I might need a break from like my kids. I might need more sleep. I might need, water. I might need to exercise. And so it's all of these different things. I might need to spend time with a friend, and so sometimes I just need to be mindful of what it is I actually want, what I actually need. And because I don't spend enough time thinking about myself, I don't really know. And then sometimes I don't know myself. And so I go, and I think I'm changing. all the time. So what I needed last year is totally different than what I need this year. And I'm sure it's going to be different from what I need next year. And so parts of it remains the same. Like I still need sleep. I still need water. But like, you know, maybe this year for me, I need more time with my kids. And that's a part of my self-care. Last year when I was trying to graduate, I needed as little time as I heard some feet, so let me not talk too loud. I needed as little time as possible because I had to get something else done, you know, and that for me was part of my self-care. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Like, what does it mean when your kids need something and when you need something and your partner needs something and your job needs something? How do you respond to that? Ebony, did you want to jump in and say, like, what do you do for self-care, or like what comes to mind when you think about it? Was he on mute?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
Motherhood, we got you, girl.
Just thinking about some things that I do for self-care. I think when I make those intentional times to go with my friends, I think girl time, just away from just being, you know, the mom life, you know, stepping away and giving time and nurturing the Ebony I was before I became a mom, you know, and that goes in effect with, you know, connecting with friends and families and with my friends and family. So I think that's a huge self-care when I'm able to just get together, be around people, just surrounded just with good vibes, good energy. And so I feel like I've continuously stayed like in a good mood because my kids, they like, even though they also a reason I need self-care, they are also a reason to that they are my self-care, because I get so much love and so much energy and just so much motivation and inspiration from them. So it's hard to, for me, that's the part of my self-care. As long as I'm able to like step away, have some time to myself, and also making space and time to have that family time with my kids and our family, and making it intentional and being in the moment. Those moments for me are like they refresh me. You know, they give me purpose and a reason to keep going. So I know I need more, and when I say more, that goes to a mental thing. So those couple things I just named off, they can give me, you know, temporary, you know, relief, like a refresh. But then to have like a whole type of shifts when it comes to self-care and the way that we are handling mentally, then that's when it's rooted deeper, because that's going to come in to keep us grounded and peaceful during those most roughest or hardest times, you know. Those
Ebony is breaking up a little bit, so I'll let her jump back in a minute. But one of the things I say to people sometimes, or a lot actually, is that self-care is preventative. You know, all the things that like
they can't even hear me.
Sorry, Ebony. We're gonna catch you on the next one. It's all good. We got you. You know, the internet don't want you to be great. Landon don't want you to be great, but we got you. We got you. So you know, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. Y'all gonna have to have my back too.
You were talking about about self-care, like the importance of it.
Yeah, like that is
being
preventative.
able to, yeah.
Yeah, because when you get in the thick of something, you just like grasping. Like, what do I need? I gotta solve this problem. I like need a shower. My kids, like, I remember that week, you know, where, you know, the murders really started picking up and the protests started picking up. Like, my kids was out of control, but really I think I just didn't have a handle on what was going on. I didn't do my regular Tuesday night, you know, where I just process and just kind of be by myself. I just was all over the place. And so then I was like, man, these kids stressing me out. This husband stressing me out. I don't need none of this, you know, but it's because I got so overwhelmed because I didn't do any of the stuff that I normally do just to take a minute to like breathe. So I'm thinking about like, what are some barriers that keep us from actually doing some of the practices that we know to be helpful? We got a couple people that had some comments. Michelle was saying it's hard, it's really hard. We could talk about all the reasons why it's hard so we can get into some barriers. And then Sally said, today she had 30 minutes before her next commitment. She just did nothing for 30 minutes. Like, I don't do that. Like, I'm going to take that from this live. Like, let me just sit. Because if I have 30 minutes, I'm checking emails. I'm checking Facebook. I'm seeing if my kid's okay, which, I might have to do that. But if not for that, then I can do some other things. So, Janelle, what are your thoughts on like the barriers that you see yourself and other people having when it comes to self-care?
Just like you mentioned, like even now, like it was a struggle. Even I had to find different ways to like get my peace, right? Because school is out, there's a pandemic going on. Now there's protests, right? So everything is just out of order. So things that was normal, the way that you would get it, the way that I would get my self-care in, it's almost like impossible. Things are closed. Usually I would take it like once a month. Me and my girlfriends would go out to have drinks, but now we know that that's not possible. Um, the kids are here all the time, right? You don't really want
all the time,
people to baby
all the time.
You don't really want babysitters.
Can we just have a moment for the kids at home, like 24?
Yes, let's do it.
I'm thinking lemonade, but like a moment.
Let's do it.
For real.
Seriously. And so it's really hard to get that. It's really, really hard. So what I have done, and usually now I have changed, like my self-care moments are in the middle of the night when everybody's sleeping. It's like I'm almost sneaking to get my time. It's like it's almost like I'm creeping, like, okay, everybody sleep. Now let me go and get my little bit. Yeah. Now let me go ahead and get it in really, really quick. Because it really is hard. That most of the barriers are life, like what is happening, what is really going on right now.
Yeah, for real. What about you? I think we lost we lost Ebony for a minute. She might be back. What are some barriers that you have, Ruby, or that you've noticed with friends and family and clients even? And you on mute too.
Oh my goodness. I feel the same, like life gets in the way a lot. And I find myself now, and I recognize it pretty quick. Like when I have some type of any type of situation that comes up and it's like a stressful event, um and I feel like I can't find answers, like really quick answers, because for me, I'm like, okay, here's a problem, boom, solution, done. But sometimes I get in a situation, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do next, I don't know what's next, and I like shut down.
Yeah.
And I won't do no self-care. I just like sit in a slump sometimes.
Yeah.
And I find myself like just isolating until I find the answers that I'm looking for, and then I'm able to bounce back and everything. But I just feel like, excuse me, those stressful moments that come up are like big distractions for me. And instead of doing self-care to bring myself back from it, it's like a negative thing. Um, so I do try to find ways to just, take a moment now that I recognize that this is kind of a cycle that I go through. I'll try to, switch it around and just be optimistic. Like, optimism is a big thing for me now. Just trying to see the positive in certain situations. Like even with the car situation, we were. You would have thought like both of us would have been annoyed, and my husband, he was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so frustrating," and I'm just like, "This was meant to happen this way." So,
yeah.
yeah.
Ebony, we were jumping in talking about barriers to self-care, and I think for me, sometimes I need like so much, but then I'm like, I'm doing so much. So I'm like, you just went away for a few minutes or for a day or for a night. You come back, like, I'm still tired. Like, I need more time. And so I feel like I felt guilty for needing time. Like, I have it in my mind. I have it on the schedule, but I'm like, I probably shouldn't go because, maybe I didn't see the kids that day, or maybe me and my husband ain't spend time together. Or maybe I just got back from something and then I find myself needing a little bit more and feeling guilty about it. And I'm like, and then, or either I'm feeling guilty or I'm entitled. Like, I deserve to have this time because I do X, Y, and Z. And, you should want me to have this time, And so I go, and people are like, yeah, girl, you do a lot. You should have that time. But it's that internal dialogue, like Ruby said, kind of shutting down. I kind of like go over the edge, like, oh no, you're gonna give me this time, or I'm gonna go get the time, or I'm gonna get what I need, and not actually having just a holistic conversation. Like, hey, I'm struggling, here's what I need, can I get some time, can I get a babysitter? And when I'm saying can I get some time, it's sneaking away from my husband, or not sneaking, telling him I'm gonna go somewhere, or asking a babysitter, or asking my mother-in-law, or asking close friends, or whatever. I feel like, dang, you just asked somebody for help, you gonna ask this other person? Dang, like, just chill for a minute. And so that's a huge barrier for me, huge barrier. And it used to be, a lot more that I want to go to a hotel, my bank account wasn't allowing me to go to no hotel. So then if I can't go to the hotel, I don't do no self-care. And like, that's not going to work either, because you can't always go to a hotel, because for somebody else, it might be like, I can't go to the beach. So there is no self-care because I can't go to the beach. And so those are some barriers that have come up for me. Ebony, what's some barriers for you, or some things that make it hard to get away from self-care?
Right now, honestly, this coronavirus and COVID has been a huge barrier. So, like things that you would normally do, you can't right now. So that makes it harder to take that time, especially when we have to be in the house and we have to social distance. So a lot of things that can come into effect and force us to find new ways to have self-care. So for me, it would probably definitely be coronavirus, because I'm such a person. and I'm sad that I can't, see my people. But just in general, when you get caught up, like I said, just being a mother, just doing your day-to-day routines, you feel like you don't have time, but that's when we have to take those moments again. And even if we are, I think I seen Sally post like, for 30 minutes you didn't do nothing. That was self-care. Okay. So like
absolutely.
So, just realizing those moments and owning it. So but if not, because everything can become a barrier. Anything can become a barrier, So everything has to be intentional when when we are trying to dedicate some time to ourselves.
I'm laughing because Ebony was like, this not being able to see people. And, me and Ebony talk a lot because of work and stuff like that. And we literally cry like a lot. Because, and we're laughing, that's kind of like trauma laughing, we're laughing because it's real. Like, we're out here alone, or alone with kids, not with any adults. And like, it's just unknown, like fears of getting the Rona, fears of giving it to somebody and not knowing. And so all of that stuff is playing into our mental health. And I was just thinking, like, how has this played into your mental health, like doing self-care or not doing self-care? How have you have you had any mental health issues?
Well, let me say this, because I am an extrovert too. So even being a life coach it's still a struggle for me, right? I'm used to people interaction. I like being around people. I like conversating with strangers, right? Yeah. And so it has been difficult. It does take a toll on mental health, but one thing I have learned to keep myself balanced with is I still see my therapist.
Yeah.
And so He's still on text, baby. I text him. We do, we virtual. Like hey, I need to see you. Like I'm having a moment, and I have learned to rely on him more so than rely on like my peers and my friends and my family, because sometimes I just need to be able to have that outlet, that unbiased outlet where I say some things where I don't have to worry about them coming back. That maybe the things that I'm saying that you can diagnose and help me figure this thing out. But for my mental health, I'm happy to say that I want to say that I'm maintaining as much as possible, but I'm definitely consistently seeing my therapist. So
yeah, no, I second that. I just have a candid moment. Me and Jordan, my husband been in therapy for like a year. So right before in February, I think it was January, we were going twice a month because we needed twice a month. And then February, I remember telling people at my birthday party, a few people like, we down to once a month now. We doing good. We're gonna be getting away from the therapist. Therapy is great, but I don't want to just live there, and I just don't want my money going there, all of it, And so the Rona hit, and we had our first session. She was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in 2 weeks." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks. I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks." And it was just one of these moments where, like, she was talking to us the other day, like, how y'all doing, and saying like a lot of relationships aren't making it. And I was talking to Ebony about that this morning, like, and that's not a laughing matter at all. We work with children, we work with families, and so to have all of this happen and food insecurity and everything like that, and then on top of relationship issues. And I was talking to another family where, we are starting to let little stuff slide that we might not have let slide before. Like, maybe we don't argue in front of the kids, but because we just done, we arguing in front of the kids a little bit more, or getting louder than we normally would, or more aggressive or whatever, because all these things are starting to come out. And you can point them back to like, we're overwhelmed, we're stressed, we're in a crisis, we're all these things, which makes it so important that we have these conversations about self-care and its realness, like talking about therapy, and thankfully I know everybody here is like all for therapy, but it's hard to get some people to go to therapy. And now with the telehealth, you got to have internet, and got to pay for it when people don't have jobs anymore, and these different things that are coming up. So, man, like, mental health as a part of self-care is huge. So I think about like the psychological part of self-care. What about like spiritual? I think we don't talk about spiritual enough, and that's not just religious, that's just spiritual. Like how do you do spiritual self-care?
I'm a sager. Uh, I definitely like to be in that moment. That's my commonplace. Uh, I meditate. I am a prayer. I am, a Christian. So I believe in God. So I pray a lot. Everybody has what they believe in. That works for me. So that's what I continue to do. But spiritually, I definitely pray a lot. I am a sager. I like to be in that aura, that moment. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much.
What about you, Ruby? Make sure you're off mute.
Oh. I was just saying I do some of the same. I have my sage. I'm learning. I use crystals as healing. For me, I'm learning how to, charge them, set my intentions and everything. I see you. And I'm actually working with a spiritual coach. And we are gonna be doing like weekly sessions and everything. And she just kind of helping guide me, um, finding different activities for healing,
Mhm.
like journaling and salt baths. I've done a few of those and put the essential oils in there, and it's amazing. Like you come out feeling like a whole new person.
Yeah.
And also I play healing music, like the different frequencies I play those, pull them up on YouTube, and do all of those things. But water is something that definitely like recharges me on a physical, emotional, spiritual level.
Yeah.
Um, so so yeah, that's the main things that I do.
Yeah, I'll let Ebony jump in here. I'm gonna read a couple of comments. Micah said telehealth has been Micah Rose says telehealth has been a lifesaver. Got to maintain that relationship. Stephanie says my faith in God and my church fam has been holding me down, and we have been processing a lot together. Jesus and therapy, yes. And Kim said Kim is my cousin. Shout out to my cousin from Texas. She said healing music. Yes, I play those too at night or sometimes while I work. What about you, Ebony? What do you do?
Some things that I like to do is kind of like Ruby was saying, journaling. I love to write. I feel like when I do take the time to write, I just pour from my soul, from my heart. Like it refreshes me. It just feels like I can just continue to write nonstop, honestly, just because of how much is going on, whether it's in my head or how I'm feeling. But that is definitely a self-care and a spiritual relief for me. And I do also love to I love to read affirmations. I have been reading the Bible. I have been reading a lot of things about just spirituality in general, just getting a just kind of grounding myself right now and my spirituality by reading more and seeing what fits me, or a little bit of everything fits my soul, possibly. So just being open to that, and I really daily though, just being home, it gave me the opportunity to write more. So
Yeah.
that is the top thing that has been really been getting me through, is having that downtime to journal a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I like to pray. And when I grew up like praying and like going to prayer meetings and stuff like that. And somewhere along the way, I was like, man, they doing too much. So I started kind of praying quietly, like, or silently, or like journaling my prayers. And then I started hiking, and I was in nature, and then I was, by myself, and I started like talking and praying and like just being in awe of God. And it's a totally different experience. It was totally different. And so now, and I'm like a person that like to talk and move, and I'm getting this like energy, this exertion, because I'm physically engaged. And so for me, like the physical energy that I use to like release is part of my spirituality and part of like how I worship God in nature. And so and that's been huge for me. And then like talking to my kids about that, like, we try to tell kids like how to pray, do this and hold your hands, or however you teach your kids to pray, but we like teach them this thing and don't let them know that spirituality is like all of these things. It's journaling, it's praying, it's therapy, it's mindfulness, it's affirmations, it's meditations on scriptures, or meditations on your faith-based readings, like all of these different things. And so like that's important too. And so I want that to be a part of our conversation, like ongoing conversation that we have with each other and with kids, because some people don't want to do certain things, and it's like, you ain't even tried it. You can try it and see how that might work for you. We got a comment from Beatrice. Shout out, Start at Zero fam. Music is definitely helpful for me in creating, using my energy to produce something that feels good to me. Beatrice, she's a really dope creator. And so yeah. I would say, I'm not an artist, but I think we all are creative, and we're created to create. And so if you don't have anything that you do that like is with your hands, some people cook, some people do art, some people do hair. Shout out to y'all for the locks. I ain't got the locks. I just started to wrap my hair up, so I didn't want y'all locks just popping and me just be without my locks, because I don't have them. So shout out to that. Ebony, you're going to get a nose ring, and I'm going to get some locks, and we're going to redo this whole thing. So, man, so what are some resources that y'all use for self-care? I know there's like podcasts and people that you might follow. Like, drop a couple of names that people can follow on, social media, and learn some more about self-care or try something different.
So Charmaine Settle, she has something called the I can look it up real quick to make sure I'm saying it right. But I think it's like the Spiritual Transformation Academy.
Hmm.
And she posts on there daily, and um she is really like she's amazing because she's dropping a lot of gems, and it's a lot of information that a lot of people will make you pay to get this type of information.
Mm-hmm.
But she's literally um showing you how to heal yourself, and then if you need the extra guidance you can pay for that. But like I remember one day I had just like she made 3 or 4 posts, and they all like hit home with what I
Mm-hmm.
was dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, I was like, wow, like this is everything I need. So that's one of the resources that I use. Um and then I can't really think of any others. I'm pretty sure some more come to me, but that's one of the main ones that's like big for me. That's been a huge help in like my spiritual healing.
Okay.
I really don't. There's a podcast that I listen to. I can't really remember the name of it because I don't listen to it every day. I always say that I'm going to and I want to, or weekly.
Mm-hmm.
But I just get so busy. Um, but really, my resources. I mean, I'm not even kidding, y'all. I'm not. I really utilize like my therapist and my peers. Them
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like the two things. Um, that I really do. I had learned so many tools that I had created. Um, that I kind of use, like, because I post motivational, inspirational posts in my group every day. So I kind of use it as for myself. So, like, basically, it's like I'm motivating myself and encouraging myself to continue, but I'm also sharing it with others. So really, the group is basically was something that helped inspire me that I
Mm-hmm.
share with others. But yeah, I listened to a podcast, and I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna get it to you just in case if you wanted to post it, Dr. Wade, that you can share with others. And it's really good. And I'm going to put that on my notes of commitment. I have this commitment list that I made for myself for things that I want to do, try to be committed to, try to be consistent with.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are one of the things. So thanks for calling me out on that. I really do want to kind of get a little bit more consistent with listening to different podcasts and things like that.
Yeah. Ruby, you gonna share again?
Yeah, I just seen the comment. I'm gonna I can inbox you Essence
Okay.
and give you that information.
Okay, cool. And then while we waiting, while Ebony's thinking, Sally said she recommends I Don't Have an Attitude podcast. It's a podcast by Elena Miller, who's here in Kansas City and has a podcast, which is great.
Oh, I'm
So
gonna write that down.
yep, check that out. Y'all can always go back to the live
Mm-hmm.
feed. And then Stephanie says, for those who are looking for Christian or faith-based reading, she just started a 40-day devotional called Bread for the Resistance by Donna Barber. I've heard that that's really good. I'm just a few days in, but it's been really encouraging already, and it's short and an easy read each day. I recommend Black Girls Heal. It's really good. Sheena Tubbs, and then Therapy for Black Girls. It's really good too. So I listen to both of those pretty regularly. What about you, Ebony? It's cool if you don't have anybody. But I know you were listening to some stuff a while back.
No, yes, I do. My background was out. I had a screaming child. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
but I do.
Pick him up. He said pick him up.
Come here. But no, I do like the one Therapy for Black Girls. You recommended to me. I listened to that one's really good. I also listened to Eric Thomas. He's I think on Instagram it's like the hip hop preacher. He has some really motivating videos. I just follow a really lot of variety of spiritual and uplifting pages on Instagram. And my phone just died, so I'm like, I can't even look it up or anything. So, but like I said, Eric Thomas, really good. Therapy for Black Girls, really good. Also, what's another one? I think his name is Prince EA. He has some.
Oh, you muted yourself, Ebony.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Prince EA, he's also on Facebook. He has some really good videos, but since I'm on my phone a lot of it just comes from like daily messages I see, or really any affirmations, really anything that's motivating can give me a push.
Thank you, Ebony and Landon.
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Wade, I did actually listen to that therapy for Black girls that you referred. I just have to get consistent. So yes, that actually is a really good podcast. It does keep you in tune. I just have to dedicate more time to really get to that.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because part of my self-care is not listening to so many podcasts. Like, there's so much information, and I love information, and I love like especially podcasters that make you feel like you know them. I'm like, girl, you're speaking to me today. I can listen to them all day. And a lot of podcasters that are really good, they do that. So then I'm just like roped in, and then I got a list of like 5 people I need to listen to every week, and it's too much. So part of my self-care is not listening to every single thing that I get my hands on. So I do have, like you said, you got a commitment list. I got like a list that could move to the commitment list, but I'm trying to like not do too much. But it's hard because there's some good information out there, and I need healing, maybe in my marriage, maybe with my kids, maybe with my mama, my parents, my parents, my family, the educational system, racial trauma. And so like, there's so many different things that I think specifically us as Black women need and women need, that it's hard to actually, get all of it from one place. So then you do end up listening to a lot of places, a lot of people, and a lot of different ideas. And then you figure out like what actually speaks to where you at right then. And maybe the next thing is on the back burner, and then you kind of bring it out the Rolodex as needed. So as we get ready to kind of wrap up, because some kids might still need to be tucked in. Some of us might not have eaten yet. All of the things. So I don't want to keep.
My kids tuck me in now. Shoot, I go to bed before them. We say prayers. I'm sleeping. My 7-year-old still up playing Fortnite. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I done lost it all. I done lost control.
Like, you gotta go to sleep sometime. So my kids are like, you didn't tuck me in tonight. I'm like, I'm gonna do a Facebook Live. Like, I don't have to tuck y'all in, But that's part of it. That's part of the journey. I wanted to share a comment from Renee. She said, yes, she loves this. A lot of us women especially truly need that self-care. My fiance is always one that has to tell me to just sit down and relax. But as women, it is so hard, especially when you have kids and so much on your mind to do. As women, we feel like our job is never done, which is true. It really ain't never done. Mm-hmm. It's truly important to just focus on yourself. It's almost like you have to put yourself on punishment and just relax. Like, that's so important, to just relax and teach our kids how to relax. I'm an educator, and I'm thinking to myself, man, these kids ain't really learning nothing right now. And I had to like reframe that. Like, they need to chill, and I need to teach them how to rest. And so we got a hammock. Well, hold up. I got a hammock for Mother's Day. But they say, and I told them, like, this is my hammock. And they're just like, but it's not. Like, this is our hammock, And so, but I catch them out there just swinging on it and reading. When I tear them away from the TV for 5 minutes, then I catch them out there relaxing and swinging and reading and playing with each other and just looking at the trees. And like, I don't remember doing no stuff like that as a kid. Like, I was always trying to read or play school or, something like that. And so teaching our kids how to rest is really important. So this is a good one. Like, if you had your perfect day of relaxation, because we're going to do that, what would that look like? Or a few hours. Sometimes it might be hard to picture a day. So a few hours, what does true relaxation look like for you?
zero me out with being responsible. That means I don't want to be responsible for anything. I don't want to cook. I don't want to have to fix plates. I don't want to hear my name being called. That's from kids, spouse. I just want to do something like even just alone, like even grocery shopping. Like I can self-care grocery shopping by myself is so peaceful. Just having that moment with just being able to be in my own thoughts. So if you can give me a few hours just to be in my own thoughts where I can just relax, like you said, you have a hammock. I have a garden, and so I call that my peace place. I'll sit out there and just look at it, play around in it a little bit. I also just ordered a hammock. I wanted a swing, but it was sold out on Amazon, so I had to get a hammock. So I had to settle for a hammock, but I got that to go in the garden because out there it's just so peaceful, just being in the nature and just watching something grow, man. Something planting the seed and just watching it grow and evolve into something. That metaphor, it's just beautiful all the way around. So yeah, that would be just give me a few hours where I don't have to be responsible for anything. Just let me chill.
Listen, what is that? What is that? Right?
Just let me chill.
We're dreaming. Let me just dream, though. I can dream.
You asked.
Right.
For me, it would be I feel like I would want to go swimming, which I know coronavirus just makes that almost impossible to do. But if I had to choose, it'd be like a series of things. Like um, I love getting massages and stuff, so I feel like getting a massage, um, eating a good lunch, and taking like a couple hours to sleep and relax. I feel like that would be perfect.
Yeah. I'm sleepy now. Like I was listening to you like that sounds so great.
Yes.
And it sounded soothing. I was like, it made me believe that this is gonna happen for me soon. So,
Yeah. Same here.
dreaming, I think if I had a day like Janelle to just think and have so many dreams and so many thoughts, so if I could have a day where I was mostly outside, now it's too hot, but I was mostly outside, eating whatever kind of like food that was like my favorite, like what I wanted, like good quality food that I did not have to make. I'm with you, Janelle, that I didn't have to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I need to spend a little bit of time with a friend because right now I think because I'm with kids all the time, I'm like, I need to be by myself. But true rest for me is in friendship. And so to be able to hang with a friend, maybe at the beginning of my time away, hang with a friend and get some time by myself and then wrap it up with a little intimacy. That would be the perfect relaxing day for me. I'm just throw that out there. What about you, Ebony?
Maybe a little bit of all of what y'all said, especially Ruby, but
especially what Jumesha said, especially that.
Jumesha, no, I don't want to see nobody. I just need to see friends only, like you said, starting out the day, being with some friends, laughing, and then taking some time to myself, but whatever that may do, whether it's a massage, just in a spot to really zone out within myself. But really, I would just need to be somewhere on somebody's island, honestly. Like just take me. Just take me. I just need to be on the first flight up out of here. But
we already covered that, Ebony, in the first 15 minutes. We just got that out of the way.
But no, really just kind of just spending some time with some loved ones. I'm sorry.
Good girl. Listen, it ain't your kid. You like what you gotta do. But we got you though. We understand. Like I said, it's bedtime. It's past bedtime. Sally said when she gets texts from colleagues and friends, it makes her so happy. Don't forget to keep in touch with people you love. And that's such an interesting, thing. I think when I keep in touch with people, especially if like you see them, I started seeing people because they would just drop something off. because we can't really see each other and be with each other, they would drop something off and they would leave and I would be crying because I couldn't actually see them. And I didn't expect that. And so, I think as we take this journey, just like expect the unexpected, even like as we plan for the fall, and we can put all these things in place and some people drop some tips and some suggestions and, relating to each other. We still are on a journey and we may not be able to do any of the things that somebody suggested because it doesn't fit our lifestyle. It don't fit our bank account. It doesn't fit the amount of kids we have or our current situation. And so like just taking all of that in and just being realistic, but still fighting for that time for yourself. And then sometimes that time for yourself is with people. I think we can't forget about that. Self-care is not selfish. It's not just for you. It's for the people you love because you get to know what you need and what you want, and you bring out better the good in other people too. And so, do y'all have any last like words that y'all want to share with the people, the moms out there trying to figure this thing out?
I would like to mention, like, just like what Ebony was saying in the beginning, like defining self-care. Don't be discouraged, like if your finances or if your circumstances, like maybe you don't have options where somebody can watch your children for you to get that moment, for you to have that time that feel that you need. Uh, I cook Sunday through Thursday. So Fridays I do not cook. I call it fend for yourself Friday. That means you can get some noodles, sandwich, cereal, peanut butter and jelly. But I just need that one day not in the kitchen. And like you have to give me that. Sometimes like if of course if he works overtime or something, I'll cook something, but it'll be very small. It won't take a lot. It'll be like some sloppy joes or something. But you can do something just really small. Just make sure that you acknowledging that you're giving yourself that time, that you are doing self-care, just so you won't feel guilty or feel like that you are neglecting yourself. Prioritize yourself sometimes. It's important. You have to put yourself first.
Yeah. What about you, Ruby? Yeah, thank you, Janelle.
I just basically want to say like I'm in the process of learning how to put myself first as well. So if it's anybody who hasn't already been taking the steps to do the self care, like use this conversation as the kind of push to take the initiative to learn more about what type of self care you would like to do, and just use it to learn a little bit more about yourself, because part of self care is a learning experience too.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Learning experience. Is anything you
Mhm.
want to share, Ebony? You just kind of have some last word, if you can. If Landon will let you have a minute.
I know, but all of y'all said some really good stuff. Really, especially Janelle hitting with um having that space or the support for your little ones, so that if you do have a spouse or your partner, to have that time where y'all can be together without the kids, because that part is also very important. Um, but everything really, like, it really was some really good things said. Last words, really just know again that self-care, it's an intentional thing. It's something you have to be intentional about. You gonna have to want to do it. You and your body eventually may force you to do it, but it could turn out in a way that leads to you being sick, or something in a negative aspect. So take the initiative to take time out to do things for you to recharge, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, but something set aside for you, um, just to make sure that you're able to, still be around to support the people around you, because you have to be in a certain state to continue to care for your loved ones.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, Landon said, yeah. And I think
Definitely, Landon.
teach them early. Teach them early. I think for me, I just want to be like okay with the fact that I have to do this, because it seems like another thing on my plate. Like I'm gonna do it and it's gonna make me feel good, but like I gotta plan it in. I gotta make sure I gotta sit her. I gotta get away, and then what I'm gonna do? I gotta pack a bag. Like whatever it is, it's like a thing that has to be done. And so, I just want to like be okay with it being another thing to do, but know that that's going to be a thing that refreshes you. And then find somebody that can, hold you accountable to actually doing it. I start saying like, I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. My friends are, oh, so you having a hard time? Because that's not me. Like, I don't say that. I always want to go towards people. So the moment I say, I ain't fooling with nobody, they can miss me with that. Like, I just shut down from people. My friend is like, red flag, you need to go get it together, whatever that means for you. And so I have her and I have other people in my life that do that for me. And so just have somebody that you can say, hey, here's my goals to take care of myself. Make sure I do this at least once a month, or start small. You don't have to do it every day, but have that person. I told Ebony, having a code word, like maybe you send somebody a little battery, a little emoji that's a battery, like I'm on E, I need help, or a broken heart, or a flower, or something that's this code for like, help me, remind me to do my self-care. So this was really good. I haven't talked to Janelle in a long time, and so I was glad to see her face and catch up with her, and checking in with Ruby and Ebony. And we didn't hit on it because that's a whole nother part 2, 3, 4. But there's just a lot of grieving happening. And specifically with young legend, legend that passed away, was killed. And so as a early childhood organization, as Black moms, like I have a 4-year-old, it just hits really hard. And so in the midst of all of this, we want to remember those that we've lost, that are close to us, those that are dying from COVID-19, and just make sure we check on each other, because it's heavy and it's hard, and it's not going away. It's not going away, and none of it seems to be going away anytime soon. And so I just want to hold space for us to check on people and be with people right now, even though we got our own stuff going on, even though we got our own hurts. Just keep people lifted up in your thoughts and prayers, and however you hold space for people. Yeah. Because self-care is care for the community too. Because we all want to be here, and we all want to be healthy, and we all want to be whole for each other, for our kids, for our families, our community. And so, again, I want to appreciate y'all for coming. You can find all of us on Facebook and Insta and all the places. And we hope to, keep having these conversations, not just leave it here. So share the video with somebody. Share if you're watching for the first time, share the replay. And we just really appreciate y'all being here.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Wade. Thank you for asking me to be a part of this. I truly, truly appreciate it. So it's good to see you ladies too as well. It has been a while. So good to see y'all. Especially Landon. That's my friend.